The poems of Fujiwara no Mitsukata in Mutsu province. Once upon a time, there was a man named Fujiwara no Mitsukata. He was the son of Daijin Sai no Toki, also known as the captain of the First Division. During the reign of Emperor Ichijō, Mitsukata was a prominent left-hand middle counselor and an important court noble. Unexpectedly, he was appointed as the governor of Mutsu province and went to live there. While Mitsukata was in the capital, he was close with Ukon no Chujo Minamoto no Nobukata, who was the son of Shik. Mitsukata and Nobukata were very dear friends, communicating freely about all matters. When Mitsukata had to leave for Mutsu province, Nobukata, filled with sorrow, sent him a poem. Without resting, my thoughts have departed to the land of Azuma. It is a parting I must bear. Additionally, there was another person named Michinobu no Chujo who also had a close friendship with Mitsukata. They had planned to view the autumn leaves together in September. However, Michinobu unexpectedly passed away. Mitsukata, deeply saddened by the loss, composed a lament in his solitude. The person who was to go with me has vanished so fleetingly, leaving me alone to mourn the autumn flowers of the mist. Mitsukata also had a beloved young child who had passed away. One night, he dreamt of the child and, upon waking, composed the following poem, expressing his profound grief. In this fleeting dream of the night I yearn for, may my life end soon like the morning dew. This middle counselor was known for his exceptional skill in composing poetry. Unfortunately, after becoming governor and spending 3 years in Mutsu province, he disappeared without a trace, leaving a profound sense of loss. His son Asamoda was also noted for his skill in poetry. Thus, the story has been passed down. Title: The Poems of Fujiwara no Michinobu Sending Off His Father. Once upon a time, there was a person named Fujiwara no Michinobu, a middle counselor known as a distinguished court noble of the era. He was the son of Daijin Tame Mitsu and served during the reign of Emperor Ichijō. Michinobu was well regarded for his elegant demeanor and exceptional skill in composing poetry. When Michinobu was still young, his father, the Daijin, passed away. Despite his sorrow and lamentation, there was no grave for him, and the mourning period passed without resolution. When the following year arrived, Michinobu, unable to fully express his grief, composed a poem upon removing his mourning clothes. Since there is an end to everything, today I have removed my mourning clothes. The only thing without end is the tears I shed. Moreover, Michinobu, while at court, reflected on the lack of graves and the ephemeral nature of things, comparing it to the fleeting nature of flowers. He expressed this sentiment in a poem. The morning glory does not know the sorrow of others, but the flower may still bloom to witness the transient nature of things. Additionally, Michinobu observed a painting on a screen depicting a lone woman in a house surrounded by blooming plum trees in the mountains. Inspired by this, he wrote, "No one sees the flowers of the mountain valley. Their color remains unknown. It is truly a sorrowful sight." When Michinobu went to visit a certain woman in September and found that her grandfather was hidden, he returned without meeting her and sent the following poem. How can the flowers of the chrysanthemum be known from a distant place when the autumn evening fog hides the dwelling? At one point, Michinobu, while traveling to the countryside where chrysanthemums were in full bloom, sent a poem to his acquaintances. Visit my home to see the chrysanthemums in full bloom before they wilt and fade away. Later, in August, he visited a place known for its katsura trees and saw the moon's reflection on the water, composing the following poem. In the clear moonlight over the Katsura River, the water shines brightly. The autumn night has deepened. Upon returning and reflecting on the beauty of the moon viewed with friends at the Katsura River, he sent another poem, How the Moon of the Mountain Valley Reflects in the Water on This Autumn Evening. Michinobu also traveled with his brother, Fujiwara no Kimi no Nobu, to a place called Tsubasaka, where they saw blooming wild chrysanthemums, and he composed, "The wild chrysanthemums now in bloom, answering the call of autumn, have endured the season's changes." When Michinobu had planned to visit a place near Gokurakuji, but the person he was to go with did not come, he sent a poem reflecting his disappointment. Even the northwest wind has brought brats, the fallen leaves of the mountain. Have I not fulfilled my promise? When a certain person named Chosen, planning to travel to China, saw Michinobu and remarked on when they might meet again, Michinobu responded with this poem. The deep autumn has come. Even you are now known. After these flowers have withered, what will you rely on? Michinobu also composed a poem in response to receiving a gift from a distant place, reflecting on the passage of time. Counting the years until you return, even the seasons of spring will bring forth the flowers anew. Upon receiving a borrowed sash from a certain noble, he returned it with the following poem. Will the shadow of the fern last through the years? When will the mist of tears be left behind? Michinobu, upon seeing a painting of a fishing boat far out at sea, wrote, which way is the boat heading? In the faraway distance, the fishing boat appears uncertain. Similarly, upon viewing a painting of travelers obscured by mist, he wrote, even in the early morning, the fog conceals the crimson leaves, and the autumn dusk reveals a lonely path. Michinobu also wrote a poem reflecting on a painting of a solitary, thoughtful man. The flowing water reflects the face of one who is unknown, a person lost in deep thought. This middle counselor's poetry was widely praised and celebrated for its depth and elegance. Thus, the story has been passed down. Title: The Poems of Fujiwara no Yoshitaka After His Death. Once upon a time, there was a person named Fujiwara no Yoshitaka, a young middle counselor. He was the son of the regent of the Ichijō era. Yoshitaka was renowned not only for his appearance and demeanor, but also for his extraordinary talents and deep religious devotion. Despite his young age, he passed away, leaving his relatives in deep sorrow, but there was no way to alter the course of events. About 10 days after his death, a monk named Heian dreamed of Yoshitaka, who appeared to be in a state of great joy and was playing the flute. However, he was only making a sound with his mouth. Upon seeing this, Heian remarked, how can someone in such a joyful state still be in such a condition? To which Yoshitaka, not responding verbally, composed the following poem. In the autumn rain, the petals of the chrysanthemum are scattered. Could it be that the sleeves of my hometown are drenched by the rain? Heian, deeply moved by this, wept after awakening. In the autumn of the following year, Yoshitaka's sister had a dream in which she met him, and he composed this poem for her. When I came to know you, the autumn has come. The season of parting has now arrived. The sister, greatly moved, cried intensely upon waking. Before his passing, Yoshitaka's sister, unaware of his death, was reading a sutra. Soon after, he passed away, and once his body was buried, that night their mother had a dream of him. The promises made were like crossing a river. How could I forget them? The mother, startled upon waking, was left in confusion. Thus, it is said that the poems composed after death by those who are skilled in poetry are truly remarkable. Thus, the story has been passed down. Title: The Poems for the Funeral of Emperor Enryū-in. Once upon a time, Emperor Enryū-in passed away, and his funeral took place in the area of Murasakino. On the first anniversary of his passing, as people remembered the occasions when he had once sent his children out on such days, they mourned deeply. The left minister of Kankan-in, Asamitsu, composed the following poem. Even if I spread out the purple mist, could it convey my thoughts, or shall I turn it into the haze of spring? Additionally, Daijin Yukinari composed this poem. I hurried so as not to be left behind in the ever-present imperial presence, yet it is the smoke that clings to the sadness of my journey. These poems, conveying deep sorrow, were recounted as moving and poignant. Thus, the story has been passed down. Title: Poems of Mourning After the Loss of Emperor Ichijō-in. Once upon a time, after Emperor Ichijō-in passed away, the young Emperor Go-Ichijō-in, then a child, saw the flowers of the pink dianthus. The Empress Dowager, the mother of Go-Ichijō-in, observed this and composed the following poem. As I gaze upon it, the dew spills over the pink dianthus, unaware of my feelings of loss. Everyone who heard this poem wept. Additionally, when Emperor Ichijō-in was still alive, and after the Empress had passed away, a note was found tied to the curtain. This note, which had been kept within the palace, contained 3 poems. If I do not forget the vows made throughout the night, the color of my tears long to be seen. No one knows of our parting, and now, feeling so lonely, I hasten to prepare. The emperor, upon reading these poems, was deeply moved by their sorrow. The people who heard about it also cried without exception. Thus, the story has been passed down.